Right. Here we go. Right. Coach Helen for YouFit Studio. Right. The common mistake. These are the common ones, not the only ones. These are common mistakes and why someone may not be losing weight or is not losing, let's just say is not losing weight. These pretty much are the most common ones from my experience. And I could do, and I have done probably actually over the last few forever weeks and days and months, done a lot of these individually as lives. However, it's always good to do an overview and put it all together and say, well, actually, if you really want to know what it is, why you're not losing weight, it is guarantee, kill that. I guarantee, this is a big statement I'm about to make. I guarantee that the reason why you're not losing weight is one of the things I'm about to discuss. Now, you may not think it is, but that's why you have a nutritional coach, because there you go, it's this one for you. And you go back and forth for a bit while you debate over why it is or isn't, and then eventually someone will concede and say you're right. Might be a few weeks, might be a few months, might be a few years, but eventually someone will concede that one of these reasons is in fact the reason why they were not, past tense because we always get to the bottom of it, were not losing weight previously. But it's good for me to do an overview like this because because everyone sits in one of these, I think, quite honestly. So let's start with one of my personal favourites, because this one is a really tough one to crack from a belief system. So this is reason number one why I'm guaranteeing not very making a statement, I'm guaranteeing that one of these reasons is the reason why you're not losing weight. Reason number one, you're eating clean. I love that terminology to start with, as if you eat dirty. Nobody comment on that, please. You're eating clean, and big but, you know, I feel like language with the buts. You're eating clean, which means you're probably not, but not in a deficit. Now, what do I mean by deficit? I mean calorie deficit. What do I mean by calorie deficit? I mean, you can do that to my energy episode. Saying that. Essentially, your energy in and energy out balance, you need to create a deficit for your energy in against your output or your exercise to create a deficit in calories to lose weight or fat, body fat, if you want to get specific, right? So if someone's eating clean, and I would say and not but, because I hate saying that, and not in a deficit, ultimately you could be eating the most loveliest clean, not dirty food. Still don't know what that means. Eating the cleanest squeaky spinach with, you know, it's my favourite. I love to talk about it. Everyone does. Avocado, poached egg on sourdough with seeds. I worked out it was like 500-600 calories, didn't I? You could be eating that all day and not being enough of a calorie deficit for you. And your mate, who is a different person, may well be eating that and still losing weight. You're like, what? Because your calorie deficit is different to everybody else's. So you're eating really lovely food. It's super colourful, super looking good on the old Instagram. However, not enough of a calorie deficit for you to be losing weight. So that is one of the common things that I come across, or we come across as a team of people, is, and the reason why this is the toughest one, I did think this one first. This is the toughest one because people genuinely, and clients genuinely believe they're eating really great food, and they are actually. They really are eating great food. They're just eating too much of the calorie denseness of it. So actually, you can still eat that stuff. It's just reducing it to the calorie deficit for them as an individual, which is again why you have a nutritional coach, because they can work out what the actual deficit specifically is for you and not your mate, right? Common mistake number two, possibly the most common actually. I didn't talk about this first because it's not the hardest one to work through. However, this one is possibly the most common there is. I've talked about it as weekend warriors. I did a live called Weekend Warriors. Weekend warriors, right? So the weekend is the weekend binge, whatever you want to call it, cheat days, just a hell of a lot of food going in. and alcohol possibly as well. So the weekend versus the weekday scenarios is a huge common reason why someone isn't losing weight, because again, calorie deficit, someone could be consuming the most I've seen, again, I talked about it recently and now I can't remember it. It was something like seven, just touch under 8,000 calories from a Friday night to a Monday morning. So Friday night to Monday morning, it was 8,000 calories. And I think they've been having something like 7,000 calories through the week, something like that, each day. So 1,000 calories a day, and then just kind of caned it all. So you've taken over your average. I mean, I haven't got a calculator here. It's a lot. That's the answer. Result, a lot. Equals, not losing weight. So second of, I'm not putting these in particular order, by the way. I'm probably going to say this is one of the top ones. So the weekend warrior is top reason for me as a coach as to why you're not losing weight. Now, notice, by the way, that I'm not giving solutions to this. Oh, no. You're going to have to watch the individual episodes if you want to. Be me. And also, though, because all of these are quite individual behavioural issues and habits that people have that are so uniquely tied into their belief system that it doesn't really need someone to unpick it on a one-to-one basis, which is, again, why you have a nutritional coach. This is what I mean. If you know, if I'm talking about some of your behaviours, you go, that's me. If it's all of these, you need to call us. Reason number 3, and this is interesting as well, because if you've ever been a client, and we get these as well, who've worked with other nutritional companies or advice, or even if they've looked online and used different ways of working out, even how much they think they're meant to be eating in terms of creating a deficit in the calories, like I talked about earlier. It's like the person is doing it with a mate. It's still not the right amount, or it's still not the right deficit for the individual. So even if they're following a textbook or following you get them in line. I think I touched them years ago. I don't even look now. I haven't for ages. You put your details in, it says you should eat this many calories to lose weight, and somebody's generally sticking to it 100% and getting quite frustrated because it's not working. It's because it's not right. It's not the right amount of calories, because it's almost it doesn't take into account environmental, social, mental, all the different factors that actually completely change how much calories someone needs or is able to have to lose weight, right? So it's all kind of relative. But again, though, that's why you have a coach that has a strategy to say, okay, well, we're going to start here, and then I'm going to give all the games away, right? But how to then work out exactly what it is. So eating everything that you should be eating, or how you should be eating to lose weight, and it's not having an outcome. So again, that causes frustration, etc. is another common reason why someone is not losing weight. Next reason, consistency. Start with a C. Consistency. Of course, I'm going to go back on myself now. Between weekends and consistency, gosh, there's a tie on this one. So if you know this, you know that consistency, if you work with UFIT, you know we talk about this, like, with consistency. Consistency doesn't mean perfect, by the way. However, somebody's consistency might be way out of whack, which is another reason why they won't be losing weight. Consistency is all out. Like, start one day, drop another. Start one day, drop another. All right. Oh, I've got another reason as well. I'll tag this one in. By the way, I just backtracked, talked about food and predicted calories, etc. Also, one I come across this quite a lot in the last few years. Someone who tracks their calories a lot, tracks the calories a lot. They don't track the little nibbles, the little liquid of stuff, the little bits here and there. They only log the meals, not the stuff that's in between the meals. If you use any kind of app that does that, by the way, that's if you're one of these, you also know. So you need to be working with us, because we can actually, firstly, work with that as a long-term thing or not, and also work out what the best things are to track and how to track it, so that you get the most effective way of using it if you're going to use that tool. Now, that's mainly food. I want to talk about some training, because these are common reasons why someone isn't losing weight. So they might have the food nailed, right? So you've got two parts of energy balance. You've got the energy in, food, and you've got expenditure, so energy out or exercise. And we're looking for a deficit in the food you're taking in as to what would output it, so how much exercise. Now, that's not to say that actually exercise or training, whatever you want to call it, sometimes can be actually in itself a common reason why somebody isn't losing weight. Stick with me on this. Oh, you're too techy. Someone's training 4 times a week. 4 times, maybe even 5. Weight look, like, you know, food looks good. Still not losing weight. Like, when they're befuddled, they don't know what's going on. They probably haven't been actually, and I will talk about this, so there's no plan, right? Consistency has gone out the window because there's no actual plan for training. They haven't got an actual plan, or they might have got something offline and they've downloaded, but it's not really consistent and it's not really working for them. They're just not, they're still doing something, they're active, so you just can't understand. I am exercising, I'm looking after food, I'm not losing weight, what's going on? Common mistake, okay? Not utilising something called progressive overload. So again, I'm not getting too techy because you don't need to know. Essentially, it's getting to the point where somebody may be working out and still using the same weight. I had this conversation with the client yesterday. So client is and has at their disposal a full set of dumbbells, but unfortunately, when I say full set, the full set goes up to 8s, has nothing over an 8, so actually cannot get to the point of where they're actually busting the gut to overload their capacity to train. They're not pushing the boundaries of the weight they're lifting, and therefore they're topping out. So actually, training becomes a tick box exercise. This is a common mistake. Not actually stopping at failure, right? Actually finding failure in training, because either they haven't got the knowledge behind it, or even because we've been working at home a lot, actually haven't got the equipment. Haven't got the equipment to do it. That's a bugger, right? But you haven't got the equipment to do it. You can't push yourself to limit. So training itself, right? There's how many times I had a conversation with clients about pushing themselves in training, that it's not a tick box exercise, that purely walking up and touching dumbbell going, I have trained. It's not going to be enough to actually do what you need to do to get your body to respond, to actually work to failure. To know what failure is actually is pretty hard in a training mindset. But from a food position, right, I've covered that. From a training position, right, just to summarise that again, not progressing in weight, so not pushing your weight loads, not doing progressions at all in the weight, just sticking where it is, top ending or whatever you got, not getting to failure, and having no plan, so no actual program, just kind of like winging it, just making some stuff up, just hope for the best, right? That's quite common. Again, that's why we do all of it. And the final I'm going to cover is recovery, because recovery is something on its own that can stop somebody losing weight. So what do I mean by recovery? Most definitely at the moment, if you're watching the Undoing, for example, we've got somebody binging that for 5 hours a day. However, if you're watching Netflix until 2 a.m. instead of sleeping, you are not recovering. So you may be training actually to the full capacity. You might be training to failure. Your food might be way on point. Guess what? You're not sleeping. You're sleeping like 2-3 hours a night. Is that going to be conducive to you being consistent? Answers don't need to be in a postcard. We really know the answer is no. Working, this is another one, right? I have this a lot of common mistake. Working out too much and for too long. Like 7 days a week, 2 sessions a day, and then wondering why somebody's not losing more, they're not losing weight, because actually they're pushing themselves too far, right? Again, that's why you need a program, consistency in training to negate all this. Not, right, and this counts in recovery, not reducing stress in other areas of your life. So if you're somebody who's like covering the training, right, covering the food, again, if you're stressed, you're probably not covering the sleep 100%, but there's other parts of your life that's fully stressful, you're still not losing weight, right? And I covered that. I did actually a stress seminar. I did a whole hour on stress and why that's happening with your body and hormones, etc., and why you won't lose weight when you're stressed. I'm not going to go into that here. Don't have an hour. However, it's a whole area in itself that needs to address with a coach, and all the reasonings behind it, why you may not be losing weight. And the final point of recovery is, and this has been a biggie for this year, certainly as well, is not taking time out or a holiday. I'd say like that, like, take some time off, people. I know it's easy to say and done at the minute. However, whether that translates to be, we're not taking time away, you are not recovering, you're not giving yourself a break. Like the conversation I'm having with people over Christmas, or coming up to Christmas, is it's a break, people. It's Christmas. I don't expect to see or hear from you because it's Christmas. So enjoy it, etc., but use it as time to recover as much as anything, because holidays are coming. Right. So they are, in fact, in different, I've spaced them in different areas in terms of diet, in terms of training, in terms of recovery. These are all the most common, or the common reasons why somebody, mistakes that someone makes when they're not losing weight. So not looking at these particular areas. Now, these in themselves, actually, as I said, I've done in more detail, because you can break all of these down even further. And you can break these down even like nitty bits, because they're also unique to the individual, again, based on their environment, emotions, belief systems, family, friends, attitude, all of it, right? It means that if you're listening or watching this and some of it resonates with you, it's probably just some, because actually you'll have your unique reason why each of these areas are something that's stopped you from losing weight, and the mistakes that are kind of being made around it. Now, as I said, there's all solutions to all of these. Of course there is. There are always solutions. And I can't, like I said, I can't cover them all in here because it would take a very long time. However, if you are sitting with one of these categories and you think, right, actually, Coach Helen knows something about this. This sounds like she's talking about me. She's been following me. Like I probably have been stalking you. However, looking for your letterbox. The reason why I'm saying these things, and it does resonate with you because they are so common, and it's because we work with them on a daily basis, so we know what to do and how to resolve that for the individual. So if you're watching this and you think, right, that is a bit of me, and I do need to find out what specific mistake I'm making in my approach to this with my environment, etc. training, then hit up the comments that's on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook, and if you're on Instagram, we'll post it up. I'm going to post it in the comments afterwards. There's a link there to book in some time to speak to us and see how we can actually support you, because guess what, we can. Recap then, to cover these in case you didn't get any of this or you joined us late. So, common mistakes of why you're not losing weight, right? So, eating clean and not in a deficit. So, not eating dirty, but eating clean, avocado all round, all nuts, avocado, all the good stuff. Right? Gosh, I see some recipes online on Instagram in a minute, make me cringe. Eating clean and not in a deficit, right? So calorifically too high, even though the content of the food is nutritionally great, just too much of a good thing. So that's the first one I talked about. Weekend warriors, so your weekend and week divides, just over consuming so far over the weekend that it makes the week kind of pointless. Also, there's a strategy for that, so there is something to get that sorted. Tracking calories like a Trojan, just not little bitty bits, not little bits that all add up, right? Eating what someone tells you it should be on an app or a number, so eating to a number, and discovering that it's just not working and not really understanding the reason why, and it still can be too high, right? So that's why, again, there's a strategy in place that we can work that out. Training element of it, not consistent at all. Kind of really going half attempt, as in not really training to full capacity, which means you're not progressing, so you're not overloading yourself, progressing on the weight selection, you're staying at your cap, not really pushing any further because you're just trying to get it done, right? And why are you getting it done? Because there's no plan, there's no structure in place for training, there's no understanding of why I'm training these days and this is how long for, and not training to the point where you're actually failing, just training as a I've done it job, right? So training elements, so recovery, the biggest mistakes: watching Netflix till 2 a.m. instead of sleeping, working out for too long and too often, right? Too long, too often, not a good thing actually, too much of a good thing. Same with the food, right? Too much of a good thing, both ways. Not reducing stress in other areas of your life. Again, I can't this from a while ago, it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, I did a whole seminar on that bad boy, a freebie. It was like so much in that was ridiculous. And also, one of the other issues is not taking a break or adequate break or a holiday, right? By that I mean time that's actually for yourself, that you're actually doing things you enjoy and not, doing things that everybody else wants you to do. So not actually taking time out to recover. So there are the biggest mistakes of which we deal with on a daily basis. Yep, daily basis over the years. First show. Now, as I mentioned, I've got another one of these on tomorrow night at 5, normal time, and then back in on Monday. So tomorrow, how to celebrate without guilt. I'd love to do that every day. that and the live. But join me at 5 tomorrow and I'll go through that. As always, in the meantime, well, firstly, I don't know if I say this for a while, hit me up with some messages. You've got any questions, hit me up or drop them on the comments. Happy to come back to you direct with any of your thoughts on this. Agree or disagree or anything else you want to add to it. And like I said, if you go, that is so me, one of those is possibly one of the mistakes I might be making, then contact us and we'll have a chat. In the meantime, laters.